Thank you for the to the organization for letting me come into to this event. For those of you who were yesterday at the book presentation, this goes in line with what I said yesterday. But going deeper in that comparison between the folklore that we share, some countries from across the Atlantic shore, especially in this case the Isle of Man. Okay, so this presentation is based on the Contos de VII. It's a translation of Max fairy tales that I accomplished this year. That is a lot more than a word-per-word translation, but is a way of putting in comments on parts of both cultures. Okay, so let's start with it. I guess everybody knows what the Isle of Man is, just in case I'm not going to ask, is that? Okay, so as you can see, it's such a small country. Small in the sense that when you live there, after 2 months, you know everybody. Okay, it's like meeting everyone, like going to the same events, because it's the only thing you can do. But they have very rich vocal and very rich linguistic background. They are trying to revitalize. That's the Manx language, the Gaelic language. Right. This work, the Manx fairy tales, were compiled by the ethnographer Sophia, okay, which is who was a very important character in the society of the Isle of Man, because apart from being a woman, she was the co-founder and secretary of the Manx Language Association, and she was always in charge of being sure that the Isle of Man was included in the Celtic gatherings, okay, at that time. As I mentioned, she is the author, the compilator of the Manx fairy tales. In a time when the Manx language started to disappear, and so we only had remains of the language, even though it was spoken as a second language, but by some people, it was no, let's say, language to as it can be in other cases where two languages coexist. Okay, so they were coexisting, but one of them was dying out. At that time, English has been mixed with Manx to such a level that they had a special dialect there. That's the English variation that we call Anglo-Manx, that includes some characteristics of the Manx language, but nothing to do with morphology, syntactics, or anything like that. It's just some vocabulary, some expressions that are included there. Right. What I'm going to do here today, I don't know why it disappears like that, is talking about the folkloric elements in common with Galicia. Galicia is to be considered as one of the Celtic nations, basically because of the ancestral connection of the regions of the Atlantic shore. Okay, so the inclusion of Galicia as one of the Celtic nations has been controversial, due mainly to linguistic reasons. When we talk about the Celtic nations, we usually talk about those places where the Gaelic language is kept. Obviously, it's not kept in Galicia. Okay. Actually, the existence of a Galician Celtic language cannot be assured. The only thing that we can provide are some linguistic remains in the language. Okay. In the current Romance language. Celticism in Galician is actually determined not by the language, but by archaeological findings and folkloric elements. So we can say that culture, but not lingua culture, is the glue here. There are some researchers, such as Alberto or Alfonso Romero, who have been working on the establishment of these connections for decades. And I can say that they cannot be denied nowadays. Right. Within this compilation of tales, I'm not going to talk about all the mythology or the parts that we have in common. Just have chosen a couple of them because we are running out of time as usual. And one of these is the black dog, the Mordidu. The Mordidu, the black dog, is popular in European folklore. It's quite common. Devil dogs in English is the Welsh Gisli. It also is the Cushy from the Hebrides. Is the Fenrir of the Norse mythology, the one that killed Odin. Of course, those of you who are familiar with Harry Potter, I guess everybody, you may think about the Grimm in the third book, the Prisoner of Azkaban, where Sirius Black is represented as the Grimm. The Grimm is not an invention by J.K. Rowling, but it's a real myth that guards the cemeteries in the British Isles and in some Nordic countries. And also don't forget the Hound of the Baskervilles. Right. So what we have here is a tale that tells the story of the black dog coming to the Peel Castle and killing one supposed to kill one of the soldiers. Okay. We are not told how. So what we can see here, the parallelisms, is that we also have this big black dog in Galician tradition. We don't call it Mordidu, of course. We call it the Urco. I don't know, it's Basque name. It's not related at all, I think. Just in case, be careful. The Galician Urco lives in the sea. It's supposed to be found in the Pontevedra Bay in an isle called Borrón, and has a summer home in Peninsula de Barbanza. Is in Curota, which is a mountain. It's a cave under the water. Okay, so he lives there. Okay, that's quite near my house, so I'm happy to be alive. And the other dog, the Mordidu, lives in the sea. We are not told where in the tales, but Peel Castle is placed in an isle, so it's surrounded by water. So if you want to get there, you have to go by sea. Both of them appear at night. Both of them are considered as bad omens, and that omens, okay, as you could be seeing in the tale. Okay. Now moving on, talking about other animals, I have to talk about the wren. Okay, the wren is no exclusive to the British Isles because it already appears in Aesop's fables as the king of all birds. And the story that Sophia Morrison included in her book is actually about how the wren became the king of all birds by tricking the eagle. If we think about it in other parts of the British Isles, it is considered as a saying in Ireland. And destroying that nest or killing them implies bad luck. Okay, so comparing the Galician and the Manx wren beliefs, okay, so no to damage, both of them, okay, and the Manx have the hunting the wren tradition that has been recovered because it was kind of forgotten from some years, which is quite festive. It's celebrated on St. Stephen's Day. So they go early in the morning around the country, indeed, dancing with the wren's pole, which is a very nicely decorated pole with a wren, that one we saw before, in the middle. Okay, singing the Ran, the king of all birds. We got on St. Stephen's Day in the Goose. That was his small, his family's many. We pray you, good woman, give us a drop to drink. So, in other traditions, what they were asking for was for some money for to provide Ran a proper burial because he was the king. In Galician tradition, the hunting the Ran part was somehow missing, okay, but it existed, okay. So we had what we call the hunting of King Charlo. King Charlo as a reference maybe to Carlo Magno. And this happens around Christmas too, okay? So was basically a ram was hunted and tied to a stick or log, and the inhabitants of the parish visited the priest and offered it to him. The priest gave them wine and bread, so clear parallelism here, okay? Then they went to the city hall and proposed for men to become the new mayor. And usually, in the Galician tradition, the ram was left, he was not killed. Okay, so had a very happy life after this, in some cases. Then, now let's talk about some beliefs. I have included here, this illustration belongs to the book too. Okay, this is the story of a man who was quite upset because suddenly his cows, which were the best cows in town, were exhausted and not giving milk at all. Okay, so he was thinking about the evil eye. Okay, so the evil eye, we know evil eye is present in all cultures. It can affect humans and non-humans, and is very related to death and fertility, okay, as to confronted things, okay, so fertility kills death, fertility kills the evil eye, okay, so most of the symbols we use to counteract the evil eye are related to sexual elements. So we could talk for ages about the Galician evil eye, but I'm not going to do it. So basically, considering what we can find here in these tales, we have the collecting dust from a full road crossing. Okay, that appears both exactly the same appear in the tales. So just go there and you threw it over the infected animals. This is obviously related to the passing of people. Okay, so the death and the life and the alive crossing their ways in the crossroads. In Galician tradition, it's called by Mancineiros, among other names. In Manx tradition, it's called fairy daughters. Other names that we can find is Mal do Aire, Megallo. We can find the fairy shot, which is physically a narrow. Okay, can be caused by animals, people, or supernatural beings. In man's tradition, even though I have not found animals, because what I have found is fairy pig, which is not exactly an animal. It's a supernatural being, can be caused by people or supernatural beings. Also, something that appears in the tales that appears also in Galician tradition is the use of salt, because salt preserves, against it and against evil in general. Right. Continuing with this, with beliefs, I have to talk about the Slua, which is the night procession of the death. It's present in all the Celtic wood. In this case, what I'm using here in this image is from a popular Galician artist, Davila, who represents parts of our daily life, and the Galician version of the Slua is actually part of our daily life. It's It always has a person who's alive with them, okay? So this person, for those of you who cannot speak Galician, is basically complaining that he was chosen to go with them, but he's not given a proper outfit to go, so he had to brought his outfit. Okay, we the Galicians call it Santa Compaña. The Mans call it Shluashid, even though it's not always identified as so. It's made of penitent souls, okay? In the Manx fairy tales, it's identified with the little people. The little people are the fairies. They are not the fairies, okay? Fairies is a word that Sophia Morrison uses, so people can understand the concept, but the Manx fairies are not fairies, are little people, mischievous, angry people, supernatural people with strange powers. A living person accompanies them in Galician tradition. In this Manx tale, there's a living person who helps them. It's a dead omen, and what happened to this person in the tale, this shoemaker, actually, the little people in the tale were grateful because one of them helped them, and the other just tried to trick them, and they were very vicious at him. Right, so as I said, well, I wasn't as brief as I thought. When we compare, okay, about Galician and Manx folklore, we have to consider that we share some beliefs and myths, that some of them are included in Morrison's compilation of Manx fairy tales, and that both universes live in their native language. Native languages that are Galician and Manx, one of them in danger. Okay, Manx language has native speakers again, which is something very good. But they are trying to create a new generation of Manx speakers who can speak Manx as a native language, or at least as a language too. And just to finish, as we are in the Basque Country, I wanted to use this image that, I don't know if you can see it, the name of the boat. Can you? No? Can you read? Ondarroa. Okay, the Ondarroa was a merchant ship from the Naviera Vizcaína that I guess some of you can be familiar with. Okay, the monks live by the sea and from the sea. Okay, as my father was in this ship, and this was involved in a war in the 70s, in the Indo-Pakistani war. It was attacked and sunk. My father survived. Okay, but this is the last photo we have of the boat, because obviously it's not with us anymore. And I wanted to finish with this saying the Mans have when they go to sea, because it's not that you are going and you get you are able to take profit. It's, sometimes the profit is coming back. Manana Maglia is the founder of the Isle of Man. That's why it's the Isle of Man, it's the Isle of Mananan. Okay, and they say, little Mananan, song of the sea, who blessed our island, blessed us and our boat, going out well, coming in better, with living and dead in our boat. Thank you.